The city lights sparkled like diamonds in the distance. But for Ayan Malik, they might as well have been 1,000 miles away. He sat on the cold steps of a run-down apartment building, clutching a paper cup of half-cold tea he could barely afford. His shoes were worn thin, his jacket patched in 3 places, and his spirit almost broken. Once he had dreamed of becoming an engineer, of designing buildings that touched the sky. But life had other plans. His father had passed away when he was 18, leaving behind nothing but debt. His mother worked day and night as a seamstress to feed the family, but it was never enough. At 24, Ayan was stuck juggling small jobs, cleaning offices, carrying crates at the market, sometimes skipping meals so his younger sister could eat. Still, in his heart, a spark remained. Every night, after long, exhausting shifts, he sat under the flickering bulb in his one-room flat, scribbling in an old notebook. Business ideas, designs for machines, ways to solve everyday problems. It was his secret world, one nobody knew about. One evening, as rain lashed against the cracked window, Ayan overheard his neighbors talking. "They say the Malik family was once rich," an old man muttered. "But look at them now. Poverty doesn't just break your wallet, it breaks your pride." Ayan clenched his fists. He hated pity more than hunger. He swore then and there, "One day I'll rise. One day I'll prove them all wrong." But fate tested him harder than ever. His mother fell ill, her medical bills stacking higher than anything he could imagine. The factory where he worked shut down overnight, leaving him unemployed. For days, he searched desperately for work, enduring rejection after rejection. Employers looked at his torn resume and dismissed him within seconds. One night, drenched from the rain, he returned home with empty pockets. His little sister, Hina, asked in a soft voice, "Pai, will we always be poor?" Her question struck him like lightning. Tears filled his eyes, but he forced a smile. "No, Hina. One day, we'll live in a house so big, you'll get lost in it." That night, unable to sleep, Ayan wandered the streets. He ended up in front of a tall glass tower, the headquarters of a massive corporation. Inside, he saw businessmen in sharp suits laughing, carrying briefcases, stepping into luxury cars. He stood there, shivering in the rain, and whispered to himself, "One day I'll walk through those doors, not as a janitor, not as a beggar, but as someone they'll have to respect." He didn't know how, he didn't know when, but he made a vow that would change the course of his life forever. And sometimes a vow is the spark destiny needs to ignite a fire. The next morning, Ayan woke to the sound of coughing. His mother's frail frame shook violently on the cot. Panic surged through him. He rushed to her side, clutching her hand. "Ami, we need to take you to the hospital," he said, his voice trembling. She shook her head weakly. "Beta, we don't have the money. Don't waste what little we have." Her words cut deeper than any knife. He felt helpless, useless. He wanted to scream at the world for being so unfair, but instead he pressed his forehead against hers and whispered, "I'll find a way, Ami, I promise." That very day, Ayan ran across the city looking for work. He cleaned dishes in a restaurant for a few coins, carried sacks of grain at the bazaar, and even stood in line to work as a construction laborer. Every rupee he earned went into a small envelope hidden beneath his mattress, his hope fund. But it wasn't enough. Hospital bills climbed like mountains. His mother's medicine alone cost more than he made in a week. One evening, exhausted and drenched in sweat, he collapsed near a roadside tea stall. He took out his worn-out notebook, flipping through the pages filled with ideas. One sketch in particular caught his eye, a simple water filtration device he had designed months ago. It was made from affordable everyday materials. A thought struck him. What if this could actually work? For the first time in weeks, a flicker of excitement burned inside him. "Brother, what are you drawing there?" asked the chaiwala, pouring tea for a customer. Ayan hesitated, then showed him the sketch. The chaiwala squinted. "If this thing works, you'll save half the slums from dirty water." Those words lingered in his mind. That night he gathered discarded bottles, sand, charcoal, and old pipes from the scrapyard. In the dim glow of a candle, he began assembling the device with trembling hands. Hina watched with wide eyes. "Bhai, are you making something?" He smiled faintly. "Not something, Hina. Our future." For weeks, Ayan worked tirelessly, experimenting, failing, and trying again. The first prototype leaked, the second clogged, but the third, it worked. Clear water trickled out of the device, filling a small pot. Hina gasped in amazement, clapping her hands. Ayan's chest swelled with pride. "If I can make this work. On a bigger scale, maybe. Just maybe this is my chance. But dreams don't climb easily. To build more devices, he needed money. To sell them, he needed someone to believe in him. And in a world where he was just a poor janitor's son, no one cared about his ideas until fate intervened. One morning, carrying his prototype to test, by the riverside, Ayan bumped into a tall man in a tailored suit. The man scowled, brushing off the dust from his sleeve. "Watch where you're going." "I'm sorry, sir," Ayan stammered, clutching his device. The man's eyes narrowed at the odd contraption. "What's that?" Ayan hesitated. His instincts told him to hide it, but something stronger, desperation maybe, made him explain. He described the water purifier, his experiments, and how it could help thousands living without clean water. The man studied him for a long moment. Then, to Ayan's surprise, he chuckled. "You're either crazy or brilliant. Come by my office tomorrow. Let's see if your little invention works." The man handed him a sleek business card before stepping into a luxury car that vanished into the traffic. Ayan stared at the card, his heart pounding. Printed in bold letters, Zahir Khan, Angel Investor. For the first time in his life, the door to another world had cracked open. The question was, would he dare step through it? The next day, Ayan stood outside a towering glass building, clutching his prototype like it was the only thing tethering him to life. The business card burned in his pocket. Zahir Khan, Angel Investor. He looked at his reflection in the glass doors. His shirt was patched, his shoes worn out, and his hands rough with calluses. He almost turned back. "What am I doing here?" he thought. "This world isn't for people like me." But then he remembered his mother's cough and Hina's hopeful eyes. He took a deep breath and walked inside. The receptionists eyed him with disdain, whispering behind manicured nails. One of them even muttered, "Delivery boys don't come this way." But Ayan ignored them, gripping his prototype tightly. Minutes later, Zahir Khan himself appeared. Tall, charismatic, dressed in a tailored suit that probably cost more than Ayan's entire house. He exuded authority. "Ayan, right?" Zahir's voice was calm, assessing. "Follow me." They entered a sleek conference room. Zahir gestured to the table. "Show me what you've got." With trembling hands, Ayan assembled the purifier. He poured murky water from a jug into the top. For a few tense moments, nothing happened. Sweat beaded on his forehead. "Please don't. Fail now." Then drop by drop, clean water trickled out into a glass. Crystal clear, Zahir leaned forward, picked up the glass, and examined it under the light. Slowly he took a sip. His expression didn't change, but his eyes sharpened. "This," Zahir said finally, "could change lives." Ayan exhaled in relief, but before he could celebrate, Zahir raised a hand. "But listen, boy, the world doesn't reward good ideas. It rewards strategy, timing, and money. You have one of the three. Are you ready for the rest? Ayan nodded eagerly. I'll do whatever it takes, sir. Zahir's lips curled into a smile. We'll see. The next few weeks were brutal. Zahir didn't hand Ayan success. He tested him. He made him pitch the purifier to skeptical businessmen who laughed at the slum boy with a plastic toy. He made him study market reports late into the night, forcing him to understand distribution channels, logistics, and patents. You think an invention is enough? Zahir snapped one evening as Ayan stumbled over a presentation. No. You must convince people. You must make them believe in it as much as you do. Ayan felt crushed more than once. Doubts gnawed at him. Each time he saw his reflection in a corporate mirror, he saw a fraud, a poor boy trying to play rich. But every night he returned home, kissed his mother's forehead, and whispered, "Not yet, Ami. I can't give up yet." Hina stayed by his side, encouraging him, sketching logo ideas in the margins of his notebook. One evening, Zahir invited Ayan to a networking dinner filled with millionaires and CEOs. Ayan wore his best shirt, but it still looked out of place among tuxedos. The guests sneered when they heard his background. A portly businessman chuckled loudly. A janitor's son building technology? What's next? A rickshaw driver running a bank? The table erupted in laughter. Ayan's face burned, but Zahir remained silent, his eyes fixed on him. A test. With shaking hands, Ayan stood up, lifted the glass of clean water he had brought as a demo, and said firmly, "Mock me if you want, but one day you'll pay for this water. And when you do, remember the janitor's son you laughed at tonight." The room went quiet. Zahir's lips curved into a rare smile. Later, as they stepped outside, he placed a hand on Ayan's shoulder. "Good, you've got fire. Don't ever lose it." But the fire would soon be tested. 1 week later, Ayan returned home to find their small house in shambles. His mother was missing. Neighbors explained she had been taken to the hospital after collapsing. The medical bills loomed over him like a guillotine. Desperate, Ayan rushed to Zahir's office. "Sir, I need help. Money for my mother. Please." Zahir leaned back, studying him. "If I give you money now, you'll always depend on me. You need to learn the hardest lesson of business. Sacrifice." Ayan's chest tightened. "But she's my mother." Zahir's gaze softened, just slightly. "And she is why you fight. Don't waste your fire on begging. Use it to win. Make your invention earn the money. Make the world respect you. Then, you can save her," the words sliced into him like knives. But deep down, Ayan understood. He had a choice, crumble under pressure or rise like fire from ashes. That night, by his mother's bedside, he whispered to her unconscious form, "Ami, I won't fail. I'll build this for you." And thus, the boy with nothing prepared to make his first real move into a world built for millionaires. Not for him. Ayan didn't sleep that night. He sat at his small wooden desk staring at sketches, notes, and figures until the candle burned out. His mother's shallow breathing filled the silence. He had no money, no degree, and no allies. Only a dream and the stubborn refusal to let it die. The next morning, he marched back to Zahir's office. "I'm not asking for money," Ayan said firmly, standing straighter than he ever had. "I'm asking for a chance. Let me test my purifier in the real world. I'll prove it works." Zahir studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Very well. I'll arrange a trial run. But hear me, Ayan. The world is brutal. You'll face doubt, sabotage, and greed. If you can survive that, you'll survive anything." The test site was a rural village on the outskirts of the city. For years, its people had suffered from contaminated water, children falling ill and families wasting half their income on bottled water. When Ayan arrived with his makeshift purifier, the villagers eyed him with skepticism. One man scoffed. Another rich man's toy. We've seen these machines before. None of them last. Ayan's heart sank, but he forced a smile. This isn't a toy. Please, just give it a chance. He filled the purifier with muddy water from the village well. Dozens of eyes watched as clear water trickled out. A small boy sipped it first. His eyes lit up. It's sweet. The villagers erupted with excitement. For the first time in years, they had drinkable water without paying. A fortune. Mothers wept. Fathers clapped Ayan on the back. Word spread quickly, and soon other villages were begging for the purifier. For the first time, Ayan tasted the intoxicating flavor of success. But success attracts predators. A few weeks later, as Ayan began preparing his designs for scaling production, a slick-tongued businessman named Farid Malik approached him. Farid owned a chain of factories and had a reputation for swallowing startups whole. He arrived in a polished car, his smile gleaming like his cufflinks. "Young man," he said, putting an arm around Ayan, "you've built something incredible. But let's be real, you're a nobody. Without me, your little purifier will stay a toy in some dusty village." He slid a contract across the table. "Sign this, and I'll buy your invention. Millions up front. Enough to cover your mother's care, build a new life. All you have to do is step aside." For a moment, Ayan's hands trembled. Millions. Enough to erase every struggle, every insult. His mother could have the best treatment. His sister could go to university. The temptation was overwhelming, but then he remembered the laughter of the businessmen who mocked him, the tears of the villagers when they drank clean water, and Zahir's words, "The world doesn't reward good ideas. It rewards strategy, timing, and money." Slowly, Ayan pushed the contract back. "I didn't build this to make you richer, Mr. Malik. I built it to help people. And I won't sell my dream for your pocket change." Farid's smile vanished. His eyes turned cold. "You'll regret this, boy. In business, there are no heroes, only survivors. The threats became real within days. Suppliers refused to sell him parts, claiming they were under contract with bigger clients. Investors who once showed interest suddenly backed away, citing risk factors. Rumors spread that Ayan's purifier was unsafe. He was being sabotaged. One evening, as he sat outside his house, head in his hands, Zahir appeared. The billionaire tossed him a newspaper. The headlines screamed, "Young inventor's purifier called a scam." "They're trying to bury you," Zahir said flatly. "What will you do now?" Ayan clenched his fists. "I'll fight. They can spread lies, but the truth is in the water. People have seen it work. I'll take it straight to them." Zahir's lips twitched in a faint smile. "Good. You're learning. Business isn't won in boardrooms. It's won in the streets, in the trust of the people. Show them you're not just another dreamer." So Ayan launched his first campaign. He went from village to village, purifier strapped to the back of an old rickshaw, demonstrating it himself. He drank the water in front of crowds, proving it was safe. Families cheered, communities rallied, and slowly his reputation began to rebuild. Each purifier sold was another victory against Malik's smear campaign. Each smile from a thirsty child was fuel for his fire. But just as Ayan began to believe he might actually win, Malik struck back harder. Late one night, Ayan's small workshop went up in flames. By the time he arrived, everything was gone. His prototypes, his tools, his notes reduced to ashes. Standing in the smoke, coughing and broken, he whispered, "They want war? Then they'll get war." For the first time, Ayan wasn't just fighting for survival. He was fighting for vengeance, and for the empire he swore he would build. The ashes of Ayan's workshop still smoldered when dawn broke. Neighbors gathered in silence, some whispering condolences, others shaking their heads, certain this was the end of his dream. Ayan stood barefoot in the debris, soot streaking his face. For a long time, he said nothing. Then he straightened, his back, his eyes burning with a fire stronger than the one that destroyed his work. "They can burn my workshop," he said aloud, "but they can't burn what I carry in here." He tapped his chest. "The idea lives, and as long as I breathe, it will rise again." He started over, from scratch. By day, he collected scraps of metal and wiring from junkyards. By night, he worked in an abandoned shed, scribbling equations on the walls when he ran out of paper. His sister cooked simple meals to keep him going, and his mother, though frail, whispered blessings over him. What he lacked in money, he made up for in sheer determination. Soon he built a new purifier, lighter, cheaper, more efficient than the first. But he knew technology alone wouldn't save him. Malik had networks, influence, and an army of investors. Ayan had none of that. If he was going to win, he needed to build something Malik couldn't crush, a movement. Ayan began giving away purifiers for free to the poorest communities, the ones forgotten by corporations. "Pay me nothing," he said, "just tell the world what this machine does for you." The results were undeniable. Villages once plagued by disease were thriving. Families saved money. Children stopped falling ill. Videos of smiling children drinking from Ayan's purifier spread across social media. A young boy shouted into a camera, "We don't get sick anymore, thank you, Ayan, bye." The clips went viral. News channels picked up the story. Headlines shifted. From ruins to revolution. Young inventor challenges corporate giants. Janitor's son brings clean water to thousands. Suddenly, Ayan wasn't just an inventor. He was a symbol of hope. But Malik wasn't done. Furious. At losing ground, he filed lawsuits claiming Ayan had stolen designs. He paid off officials to block Ayan's permits. Investors were threatened to stay away. Instead of retreating, Ayan went straight to the people. He launched a crowdfunding campaign titled Clean Water for Everyone. Within days, donations poured in from around the world. Ordinary people became his investors, each purifier they funded going directly to a family in need. It was unstoppable. What Malik had tried to bury had now become a wildfire. Months later, Ayan stood on a global stage at a technology summit in Dubai. Journalists, CEOs, and leaders from across the world filled the hall. Behind him, a giant. Screens showed images of the purifier transforming lives in villages, schools, and disaster zones. He took a deep breath and began. "I was born poor. My family struggled for every meal. People told me I didn't belong in rooms like this. But I learned something. Ideas don't care where you come from. They only care how far you're willing to carry them." The crowd erupted in applause. Ayan unveiled his newest model, a sleek, solar-powered purifier that could supply an entire village. Governments signed contracts on the spot. Humanitarian organizations lined up to partner. Billionaires offered investments, but this time, Ayan didn't need them. He had built something larger than wealth, trust. When the numbers came in, Ayan's company, Pure Life Innovations, was valued in the billions. But the real moment of triumph came when he walked into the hospital, his mother resting in bed. He kissed her forehead and whispered, "Ami, we'll never struggle again." Tears rolled down her cheeks as she held his hand. Months later, Ayan attended a gala honoring global innovators. As he accepted his award, he spotted Malik in the audience, red-faced, clapping stiffly. Their eyes met. Ayan simply smiled, not with arrogance, but with quiet victory. From a poor man with nothing but a notebook, he had become a billionaire who changed the world, and he wasn't done yet. The city skyline shimmered in the distance, reflecting the glow of countless lights. On the rooftop of Pure Life's new headquarters, a towering glass building that symbolized both wealth and purpose, Ayan stood quietly, the night breeze brushing against his face. It had been years since the boy who once patched together scraps in a tin shed first dared to dream of something greater. Now, that dream had reshaped nations. Across the globe, Pure Life purifiers hummed in schools, homes, refugee camps, and villages. They weren't just machines, they were lifelines. Children grew up healthy, mothers no longer walked miles for water, and communities once forgotten now thrived with dignity. But for Ayan, the journey wasn't about the billions in his bank account or the awards lining his office walls. It was about something far more personal. He often visited the old neighborhood, walking through the narrow lanes where he once begged landlords for extra time to pay rent. People stopped him, their eyes shining with pride. "You showed us that. Where we start doesn't decide where we end," one elderly shopkeeper told him. And every time, Ayan bowed his head humbly, because he knew the truth. He was no hero forged alone. He was a product of his mother's prayers, his sister's sacrifices, the neighbors who encouraged him, and the strangers who believed in his vision when no one else did. One evening, as he tucked his mother into bed, she whispered with a faint smile, "You've given the world water, Ayan, but you've given me something greater, proof that no struggle is wasted when it's endured with faith." Tears welled in his eyes. He kissed her hands, calloused from years of labor, and said, "Everything I am is because of you." The world would remember him as the billionaire who brought clean water to millions. But in his heart, Ayan remained. The boy who once stood barefoot in ashes, daring to believe that broken things could be rebuilt stronger. And as the stars glittered above, he promised himself, "This is not the end. It's only the beginning, because empires built on greed fade away. But empires built on hope live forever."